Question number one, attachment towards one's own country in Lahore attack. The answer number one, the extract from Kalyan Kautri lecture on Lahore attack by Kumar Shankara reveals the experience of Sri Lankan cricket team in Pakistan in 2009. The prose clearly exhibits the attachment, admiration, loyal feeling of pride, patriotism, devotion, and vigorous support of the narrator. Let's examine these things in the following paragraphs. So to start with, we can tell that cricket team specify themselves as Sri Lankans. Even though the cricketers are from different religions, areas, and culture, Kumar Sangakkara utilized all the cricketers as a team, which is the identification of Sri Lanka. We were not down and out. We are Sri Lankans. Here, the tone of the speaker is an admiring tone, which draws the image of the speaker's gratitude and honor as an individual who belongs to Sri Lanka. Next, we can tell that the soldier's admiration and humbleness towards the players who brings glory reveals the love towards one country. Here, soldier respects the players as heroes who bring the pride to their motherland. When we analyze the motive to this talking, we can understand that the respect and the honor towards Sri Lanka inspires him to speak in this manner, which creates the respectful mood to this phrase. But you're a hero. If you were to die, it would be a great loss to our country. Here, the soldier's humbleness also portrayed. From his view, his life is mere thing compared to the cricketer's life. Moreover, his duty mindset also portrayed through the soldier's encounter with Kumar Sangakkara. He dares to sacrifice his life for his mother nation, which adds a pride feeling to us as Sri Lankans. Furthermore, cricket teams playing for the country amidst obstacles and fear shows the patriotism. When we see the background of this prose, we can realize that some ethnic groups in Pakistan believes that playing cricket is a sin and they think that it is against their religion. Even though cricketers know this, they feel that playing for their own motherland is an important thing. But one can understand how far the danger captured the area when Sri Lankan cricketers toured to Pakistan in 2009. But amidst obstacles and threats, they managed to play for Sri Lanka, which carries the feeling of love, devotion towards their own nation. Finally, we can tell that Kumar Sangakkara shows sympathy and empathy towards people who had experienced violence for 30 years. Even though he didn't have enough idea about their struggles, he views their pain in a proper way, and we can understand that when he presented his speech at Colin Cowter lecture, he mentioned their plights in two occasions. The tone of the speaker is very sympathetic, which is mixed with the feelings of pride. The below lines clearly projects these facts. We all realize that what some of our fellow Sri Lankans experience every day for nearly 30 years. So, in a nutshell, we can conclude that this prose carries the attachment towards one's own country and Kumar Sangakkara's devotion towards one's own country. Question number two. Father's lack of understanding of a son's desire. Break away and shape a new life in father and son. Answer number two. Father and Son is an amazing song which was written by the British songwriter Cat Stevens during 20th century. This poem centers around the two different characters and their perspectives of lives and the father's incapacity to understand the son's wishes to relieve himself and build up a new life. Let's examine these things in following paragraphs. To start with, we can tell that typical parental advice of the father makes him to understand less about his own son, as the father is so busy in telling the same advice to his son without thinking about the son's perspectives and desires. The son in this poem finds uncomfortable. You are still young, that's your fault. Here we can understand that father's lack of understanding leads him to view the age level of his son as fault. Young is an age which contains full of adventure and innovative ideas. But for father, it seems as a fault to leave from the traditional path and follow new things in life. If the father understands his son well, he views his son's age as blessing for him to explore new things in life. Instead of that, the father is viewing his son's age as fault. Hence, the father started to repeat the same boring advice, which makes the barriers against the son's wishes and desires. It adds the gloomy mood to the poem. Next, we can tell that lack of understanding, which mixed with the feelings of love and protection, leads the father to ignore the son's desire and draws the image of the father as an incapable father who can't understand his son well. As the father represents the older generation, he thinks a lot about the consequences of the action before doing anything. Similarly, in this poem, father thinks a lot about the son, which seems as obstacles for the son. Find a girl, settle down. If you want, you can marry. Here we can understand that father seems as fearing about the son's decisions. He may think that son's joining in Russian Revolution is an unbearable pain for him, which emphasizes his love towards their own son. The father seems as worrying about his son's future, so he tells them advices like find a girl, settle down, which can make the son incapable to think about the Russian revolutionary acts. Here, even though the father's thinking is to convert the son's desires to break away from the life because of love, as readers and even the son view this activity of the father as a huge obstacle for the life for the life. As far as the father and son's relationship concern the father's concern the father always comes as a antagonist for the son's dreams. For children, their parents are the big supportive to achieve their dreams. Here, according to the son's reply for the father's advice, portrays that the son ignores to tell the dreams of him to his own father, which draws the strange mood to the poem. Here, the tone of the son is sorrowful as he finds his own father as a villain character uh, to whom he can't express his desires and dreams. The son considers his father as a person who can't understand the mood of youngsters and stereotypical. How can I try to explain? Because when I do, he turns away. Here, the son's explanation about his dreams are wasteful in front of the father's view. Even though the son wants to raise his voice and tell the things which he wanted to do, he ordered to listen as many parents didn't want the children to take superiority than them. But according to this poem, Cat Stevens clearly portrays these kinds of parents who can't understand their children. And it's strange that even though the son has reached the marriage age, he can't able to break free from the grasp of his own father. So, in a nutshell, we can conclude that the poem, The Father and Son by Cat Stevens, is all about the father's lack of understanding of a son's desire to break away and shape of a new life. Um, Question number 3. The close relationship presented in the fear by Gabriel Mistral. Answer number 3. The heart-wrenching poem Fear was written by the most famous Chilean poet Gabriel Mistral during the early 20th century. The poem captures the heart of the mother, which reflects the deep emotional and typical maternal feelings towards the daughter, which was common in Latin America which inspires Mistral to create this amazing poem. Let's examine how mother's turmoil about her daughter's growing up and her sympathy towards her daughter built up his poem to the importance of close relationships. To start, when we talk about the proximity, it can surely given by close relationship according to this poem. In this poem, mother is caring about her daughter's transformation into queen and princess. For readers, even though the position of the princess and queen seems as very authoritative and powerful, for the daughter's mother, she views these positions as obstacles to achieve the close bond between her own daughter. I don't want them to make my little girl a princess. Here we can understand that the mother's nostalgic tone of addressing this fact highlights the importance of the close relationship. The throne symbolizes the high level position, which deviates the daughter from her mother. And when we talk about the chat moment, it can be obviously given by the intimate relationship. The mother's the mother cherishes the day-to-day activities with the daughter, like combing hair and sleeping with her side to underscores the role of the close relationship in the mother's heart and how this kind of roles can give the happiness in the heart of the mother. And when night came, no longer without she sleep of my sight, by telling that she definitely misses the sweet companionship and the memories in the night with her daughter after she has transformed. Mother delves the idea that only the close relationships has the power to turn every moment as memories, when whether it is usual or unusual for the individuals. The mother's uh, continuity of the care for her daughter also reinforces us the value of close relationship. In the whole poem, mother's heart is hovering around the thought about her daughter, who can be transformed as a birth, princess, and queen because of their outward influence. Here, the mother's care is projected where she declines all these powerful positions, and chooses his daughter to be with her without growing up. By telling that when the daughter achieves these positions, she misses everything in her life. Mother's point of view in the poem captures the reader's heart. I could not go to see her, I could never rock her. According to the above lines, we can understand that mother is finally aware that when her daughter transformed, she missed her daughter. And it also makes us to think the importance of the close relationship, not only for the physical wellness, but also for our mental strength. Here, according to the mother's point of view, we can analyze that the mother is not in a good mental health as she is thinking about her daughter's future and all these things. So, in a nutshell, we can tell that this poem is the best example to teach us that when we lost close relationships, it not only affects our physical health but also affects our mental health. It not only resonates a mother's fear but also reinforces the universal need for connection and intimacy in our lives. Question number 4. Simply a love story between a husband and wife. Twilight in Twilight of Crane. Answer number 4. Twilight of a Crane is an amazing play which was written by the most famous Japanese playwright, which was written by during the postmodern era, where the human being started to seek the realm of materialism. This is a nicely woven play which the love story which struggles between the jaws of corrupted world. As the character Yo-Yo and Sue belongs to the two different worlds, and the love story is built through the yearning for the true love and finding the true love as a meaning of life. Let's examine these things in following paragraphs. To start with, we can tell that love is the most wonderful emotion in the world. And here, this kind of love is illustrated through the heart of the Yo-Yo and Sue, who are the center characters in the play. The love story starts with the caring of the husband. Cold soup is not good for my sweetheart. Caring is the vital part to love someone. If there is no care, there is no love. So we can tell that by caring his wife and boiling the soup for her, Yoshio expresses his love towards his wife Soup. The diction, sweetheart, also conveys this fact. And when we move on, we can find that after the injected word of the corrupted people, Sodo and Unsu, Yohyo's love towards his wife started to decrease. We all know that love is a challenging thing to keep it as same forever. But in this love story, Yo-Yo's love towards Zhu gradually changed as hate because of the yearning for money and the expectation to see Kyoto. But in this situation, Zhu acts as a true lover. She doesn't get angry because of the activities of Yo-Yo. Weave the cloth right away, otherwise I will leave you. You are a cross woman. As Sue belongs to the realm of nature, she wants the pure love of Yohyo, and her love is also so pure. As her love is pure, she doesn't want to ignore the words of her husband, even though Yohyo acts in harsh manner. In this situation, we can find the true sign of love, where even though the one heart struggles to cooperate, and the heart adjusts with it to cooperate, as it finds the true meaning of life within that heart. Similarly, in this love story, Sue's heart not only adjusts with the heart of Yohyo, but also sacrifices for his happiness. My love, I'll weave another stuff for you. Please don't leave me. Moreover, as we all know that every love story has many painful memories to explain. In this love story also, we find the ending as very painful. In the latter part of the play, Sue weaves the fabric just for the happiness of Yohyo. But as there are villains for every good things, in this love journey of Yo-Yo and Sue, Sodo and Unsu comes as a villains who ruin the domestic peaceful life of Yo-Yo by catalyzing Yo-Yo to peep into the room when the Zoo weaves the clothes. As Sue is cheated by those people, she feels that her pure love also has cheated. In the beginning part of the play, we can understand that Sue finds a meaning to stay as a human is Yo-Yo's love. But in the latter part, as he also changed as those people, she doesn't find any reason to stay with him. So she left him with the glittery eyes, which were Sue's and Yo-Yo's hearts filled with unbearable tears. Then after Yo-Yo understands the true meaning of life is true love, where we can find the main theme of this play as true love, which is a power to keep the world calm. So as they both left with broken heart in the end, we can say that this play is simply a long emotional love story between husband and wife.
The Nicholas and Aunt. The autobiographical prose The Lumber Room was written by H. H. Munro, who is mostly known as Sagi in the 19th century. The whole prose revolves around the conflict between two manipulative characters, Nicholas and Aunt, and illustrates various ups and downs in the plot. Let's examine this idea in the following paragraphs. Firstly, Nicholas is the protagonist of the prose and the aunt is the antagonist of the prose. Those two characters belong to two different worlds and two different generations. Nicholas belongs to the children's world and younger generation, while the aunt belongs to the adults' world and older generation. In accordance to that, they both have a very contradictory thoughts. For example, Nicholas is extremely imaginative, straightforward, freedom loving, mischievous, and skillful, while the aunt is authoritative, self proclaimed, tyrannical, and unimaginative. The amount of imaginative power can be compared by Nicholas elaborating a story own in his own perspective based on the tapestry, while the aunt thinks about the common occurrences like going to circus and beach. And aunt is also mentioned as a woman of few ideas in the plot. Moreover, they both are mainly obsessed in two things. Aunt is obsessed in finding Nicholas guilty and punishing him, and Nicholas is obsessed in mocking and declining the thoughts of the aunt. Nicholas does every mischievous things due to the wrong guidelines of the aunt. He raises his voice against the boring breakfast pattern by putting a frog into his bowl in the opening scene. The aunt replies to this action by putting him in disgrace. As an adult, aunt should have understood the reason for his action, which is his dislike to that particular meal. Instead, the aunt shows her self righteousness as there is no possible way for a frog to go into his bowl. This can't be taken as an attribute for a grown up, as she shows a sheer childishness. Nicholas sarcastically ridicules the aunt by stating, "You said that there couldn't possibly be a frog in my bread and milk. There was a frog in my bread and milk," in front of aunt. This obviously shows his bravery. Furthermore, in the latter part of the plot, Nicholas successfully executed his plan of going into the lumber room by escaping from the aunt's surveillance. This contrasts his ability, which surpasses the aunt's ability. With that, Nicholas gave the taste of her own medicine by leaving her in the rainwater tank, and he vehemently emphasizes the wrong guidelines of the aunt, using the evil one and the good one concept. This illustrates that Nicholas becomes victorious and the aunt becomes as a failure due to her uninspirable acts. As a whole, we can conclude that the autobiographical characters, Nicholas and Aunt, enables the readers to totally engage with the plot. And between them, Nicholas seems to be more manipulative and victorious than Aunt.
Question number 5. True love cannot be measured, so that is invaluable. The Nightingale and the Rose. Answer number 5. The heart-wrenching poem, The Nightingale and the Rose, was written by the most famous author Oscar Wilde during the postmodern era. This prose talks about the value of true love, which cannot be understood by anyone, and died without any value. Uh, sir, uh, sir,